Yeah, I'm going live, right? um, Good evening, folks. Hope you're well. I'm just. This is going to echo in another screen in a wee second. So let me just pause that. To watching at the moment. Welcome. Make yourselves known if you want in the chat. Um, One contributor was driving home, so he'll be in his Wi-Fi in about 10 minutes. The other guy's struggling to get his link to working to come in, but I'll hold the fort. What I thought I might do is as I was listening, I was listening to a new stream, a new voice. I'll share him with you guys. He's called Irish Real Media. Just while we're waiting for John to come in to get home, we tried it from his car. He had the camera up on the dashboard. You could see him driving away, but it started great, but then it dipped in and out of like Wi-Fi, so that was no good. So let me
maybe there's more oligarchy because all the civil servants and the top boys, they are still all living the lap of luxury in that system.
Yeah. Can you hear that? Okay. Irish Real Media.
Going on to it,
so I'll just put this on while we're
it's really simple. Actually,
while we're waiting for John to come back in again.
The sort of
I want to introduce this new
the
voice.
kind of Marxist agenda. So with the Marxists, it's always about class. It's always about pitting the classes against each other.
Yeah.
But with nationalism, it's about the national identity, obviously. So with the Marxism, it's like it doesn't matter what country you're from. Your country means nothing. It's your class what means the thing. Your class is your country, basically. Yeah. Which I always, like in history, that never worked. And I remember they were saying like in World War II that it was mainly probably average working people that fought in the war. But what the Marxists don't get is the average working people are still patriotic, you know? They still love their country. And I think the class warfare, like a lot of rich people are patriotic too and do great work for the community as well. It's harsh to just, the hatred they have for them is really something else.
Mm. It's got to stem from jealousy, isn't it? You know, I mean, a lot of these are primal urges that people suffer from, don't they? They're very basic urges, aren't they? You know,
it really is. Yeah, it's just jealousy, and that's what again. Christianity. Sorry, no, I was just saying Christianity again. It says, you know, don't covet what your neighbor has. Just be happy what you have, and be happy with your life and your possessions. And the jealousy needs to stop. You know, it really does. It you know, we're all in it together. And at the end of the day, if you look at a lot of the business people and stuff like that, like these people are essentially creating the wealth in the country. Like if you don't have them, you have nothing, you know, all the inventions, everything, this is all done by them, and they pay the majority of the tax. So I understand people say, oh, well, the top 10% own 90% of everything. And that's a fair point. But the top 10% probably pay 90% of the tax as well in many cases. So I don't know. You need to cut some slack sometimes. I understand. And what also I want to make a point in is that if you have a business owner, let's say, like owns a car shop and he sells cars and he's worked hard over the year and he's, let's say, 2 million in the bank. Okay, don't put him in the same category as Jeff Bezos or someone, or like the guy that owns Google. Like the billionaires are a different category to just your standard business owner. So I don't like this. Yeah. It's like when
Branson.
yeah, exactly. Like the average business owner isn't able to do all this tax evasion. It's the actual super top boys. They're the ones that are doing the dodgy stuff. It's not your local, I don't know, guy that owns the local Tesco down the road or something. It's not he's the problem. It is the real top boys. If you want to go after them, fine, but it's not everyone.
I was just listening to the stream before coming on,
and I see here there's a comment, Paul O'Neill, about stabbing in Glasgow. Actually, I saw that. Do you have any information on that for the people listening?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I saw it in Telegram. They said it was...
three white people.
Refugees or illegals.
I think one of the...
Farage had posted something about it on Twitter and everybody was caning him for it, saying how racist he was.
One of the people was working in the hotel. I heard that.
Yeah, it won't be long.
Good to be busy.
So what were you saying?
Yeah, so I saw he posted something about it on Twitter and people were ripping him, you know, saying, oh, putting a political spin on it and all this sort of stuff, like they do, you know, when it suits.
Oh yeah, 100%. And it's actually funny because if you actually do listen to Nigel Farage, a very reasonable man. And I actually always find that with a lot of these kind of lightweight conservatives, is what I like to call them. Like your marine, like Nigel Farage is actually genuinely a nice man. He's actually not a bad guy, and like he actually doesn't offend anyone. Like if anything, he actually is just a real liberal. That's what he is. Let's be honest.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, I'll just mute those lads for a second there because there's a nationalist, there's a supporter of mine who voted for me in the general election, or the UK general election. One of my 690 people that voted for me. Oh, there's John coming in now. Great. I'll just give him. I'll just finish this wee anecdote now. He's from the unionist community actually, and he's done a bit of work for Nigel Farage. And he said Nigel Farage remembered 3 years. He met his son when his son was like just heading off to university, and his son. Nigel Farage met him and his son 3 years afterwards, and he remembered the son's name and also the course he was off to do. So that was Johnny was very, very struck by his interest in people. Anyway, yeah. So I'll get these guys off. So Irish Real Media, good intelligent commentary, nice wee channel. Introduce that to you, and I'll get John on here. Johnny, you ready? You all good, John? Well, sure, we'll get. Let me remove that. Well, John.
All right, Connor.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
Oh yeah, okay, of course. I had. Let me just give it. Stop screen. Okay, sorry. So, no, I had those other guys talking away in my ear. I'm not sure if I muted them. I'm still getting on top of all this. So we had to, we juggled a wee bit there. Just while I thought I would like put that other stream on. So how's yourself, man? How's yourself? Busy day.
You made it all the way home. How was some journey you made to get down there? It's great. Good
oh yeah, the weekend. Yeah, yes. Yes. Let's get straight into it. The main reason we're here is to discuss this fantastic, transformative weekend. Well, for you, possibly it was just one day because I think you came for the Sunday. Was that right?
Well, yeah. I just saw Chariot Dave do his thing, and that was about it, really.
Well, you were also there for the trip up to the Mass Rock, weren't you?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, and then I had to leave straight away. Then, but yeah,
you had to leave straight away. Yeah.
The meeting afterwards, the session was very good. So, can you say what went on at the?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'll go through, well, I wanted to start with the introduction, the invitation. It was a personal, I take it you probably got the same one.
I got the invitation by person at the Gemma O'Doherty John Waters Assembly in Athlone some weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where that one happened. And so there were quite a few people from that Athlone gathering there last weekend.
Oh yeah, because it was called an Oireachtas. Okay, so this is 17th of June. I got this invitation. The Oireachtas Gathering of Free Men cultural event is on this Sunday the 21st and follows a bunrock on the beach organized. So obviously I got this about 2 weeks ago or a week ago, 10 days ago, and organized for County Clare on the Saturday the 20th. Camping is available on the organic farm both evenings. That was somewhere else. Yeah, we hope you'll come up for the bunrock. Bring your posters, banners and leaflets and stay for the Oireachtas. We've been protesting attacks on the Irish identity for a long time now. So on Sunday we're just going to do Irish patriotism and culture stress-free together for a change starting 1 p.m. Security measures are going to be a big thing, and we intend to ensure that everyone who gets onto site is a reliable supporter so we can take it easy together. And they certainly achieved that.
Yeah.
I'll message you the beach location as well as postcode and mobile number for getting onto the farm on Friday to minimize the chances of the information going astray. If you have any concerns or want a number for a B&B, ring or message me on this number. Everyone invited will get the location of the bun route on the beach. If you can't make it for that event on Saturday 6 p.m., please use the address and postcode to meet us at the parking area nearby to the on-farm camping and ring the mobile number. Okay. Blah blah person whose name I'm not going to give and myself invite you to this limited numbers event. Each person could bring a friend or family, and attendance is by personal invitation only. It's all about who you know, John. Isn't that right?
I've been in the right place at the right time.
Yeah. We hope you can come and make it a success so we can develop it into something bigger and better in future. There's no fee donations accepted. So that was the tantalizing invitation that I got 10 days ago, and I wasn't even sure I could make it because with this bloody lockdown jamboree nonsense, buses were there were like shorter buses, but I managed. I jumped on a bus, got up at 5:30, jumped on a bus. Well, anyway, long and the short of it is, I made it down to Galway. David Irish Chariot, his house. We went out to the bun route on the beach. John Waters and Gemma couldn't make it. We knew that by the time we got there that they weren't going to be making it. So we decided to go ahead. Well, it wasn't. I had no decision. I was just along for the ride as an observer, as a participant. There was about 20 of us. People came up from Limerick. Beautiful beach, beautiful location, but a terrible blustery old day. But we got some great photographs. Oh, there's James. Let's get James in as well.
Hello.
James, are you with us?
I am.
Good man.
The event, you got in.
Yeah, good lad.
So sorry with that. I had to go rig my roads and sign in to this and sign into that to get into you.
No problem at all. Can everybody in the chat give me a 1 if you can hear James okay? I can hear him, so I'm presuming that
yeah, he's good.
James, this is John, and I think you might have been on the stream with John before.
James and I we met in person a couple of times. So, yeah.
Oh yeah. Tullamore. Yeah.
I know John. Well.
You guys are two solid lads. Two solid. You know.
We were Meath men anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a Meath man as well, John. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
There you go. Thanks, Morepace, for giving us the one there, so we can hear James. So I was just going through what happened on the. Just so people, if you're joining us, there were 2 nationalist events gatherings last weekend. I'm going to talk first of all about the one that John and I were at, and then James is going to come in and give us a few, a bit of a review or his impressions of the one that he was at. Obviously, security is important, so we won't be talking about other people's names who have asked to remain, unless there's somebody who's already out in the public view and are comfortable with that. And certainly, exact locations won't be mentioned either, even though it's all already happened.
Yeah, of course.
And that was what one of the flavors of the thing was, that we were doing this without any disruption from the people who wouldn't want us to get together or to speak. There were about, I think David said there were 100 invites sent out and 60 came to. There were 60 people there over the 2-3 days. It started at planned for like a weekend, but it ran on into the Monday, and then for me it ran on into the Tuesday. And luckily enough, I'm not working at the moment, so I was able to accommodate that. That was great. So on the Monday, Bunrock on the beach without Gemma and John. It was too blustery even to have a discussion to get your constitution would have got soaked, and that's you'd hardly think it was June, the rain coming in sideways. But it was a great gathering, great photo shots of the flags stiff in the breeze, flying, exactly horizontal, fluttering out to the side. At one stage, some figures. It was a bit like a scene from Vikings, because we were down on the beach, the series Vikings. We were down on the beach, and then we saw these figures like from 200 meters away or 100 meters away, up on the bluff above the beach, and I thought, oh no, here's the Galway Antifa just to ruin the party, just to. And I was having I went over to relieve myself, and I thought I was going over to relieve myself underneath the bluff. I thought I'd better not do that, or they'll take a photograph. You know what they're like. They'll take a photograph and frame me. The perverted thing that they would do, but and then they would like say that I was like exposing myself in public and all of that. So I had to hang on. I just turned around and went back. So we had David O'Reilly gave a wee speech. We sang Around the Wayne, Naveen, and had a wee prayer, and then off we went. And great people there, great people that blessed that. Some people had driven up from Clare. So after that was off to the settlement. The settlement in the woods. That was a good 50-mile drive. So it took us an hour to get there. That was a bit of an adventure, just trying to like find the place and keeping up with the cars in front and everything. And we got there, dropped people off. As it turned out, I was staying in David's house in South County Galway. So we dropped them off there, and then we took another hour back. To there, or maybe it was more, I don't know, and I stayed over with Dave. Then I helped them. There was already people camping at that stage. We could see the tents up. I didn't really get a good look at the place then, but the next day I did. We helped David get the stuff packed up. He took his whole family down. His son's good with horses as well, and the 2 horses and the Irish chariot. And spent a bit of time getting that sorted out. And while they were doing that, I had a look around the facilities. The host had built a wooden house, a temporary house, and a few other bits of buildings as well. A good few acres down there, and they were going for self-sufficiency with organic gardens. It's just a beautiful setting, very wooded, beautiful surroundings. Good for the soul. And it was these people who actually had appeared at the. That's funny actually, because I thought they might be opponents of us. But as we left, I could see that there was a gathering of maybe, for some reason, I had in my head Polish or Eastern European people, fishermen, because I could see the fishing rods out. And it was just them. It was just them. They'd come to stand and watch and say, "What are these crazy Irish people doing? Stand on the beach." Obviously, they would have like picked up it was nationalism, but they probably, they give us a thumbs up as we left. So Eastern Europeans are big into nationalism as well, so they probably recognised kindred spirits there. Well, Paul, how's it going? So just going through the weekend, this marvelous weekend. It was good for the soul, good for the future. Give us faith for the future. And relaxing as well, and out of the tumult, and a bit off grid because where we were, there was no Wi-Fi, and your data didn't work, so you're basically off the grid. So into Saturday, that was Saturday, and into Sunday. That's when John, you turned up on Sunday. Do you want to take over and give the listeners some?
No, you go ahead, because you were there for the whole thing. So
I just want to give the listeners a break from my voice and
okay. Well,
if I say everything, then you won't have a chance.
Okay, Sunday wasn't it? That's when Dave Chariot O'Reilly was doing his shtick with the horses and the chariot, and some reenactments of a few battle scenes, if you will. It was very enjoyable. It really brought us back. He gave a brilliant explanation as to, he really knew the history of what he was talking about. It was I liked the clandestine manner in which we were all brought to the wooded area. It was very, I don't know if you've seen the film Eyes Wide Shut, it kind of reminded me of that. Getting there, it was very hidden. It was to make sure, like Connor said, that we weren't being tailed, because there was 60 people gathered in the one area, so we were targets for any naysayers saying that we were breaking social distancing rules, which we were. But we were everybody there was kind of on the same page as to the pandemic or scam that it is, or that it's been overplayed. There was a wide variety of people there too. Like there was. Who said, the lefties say that we don't embrace diversity. There was all kinds there, but ultimately we are on the same page. There was, you get the religious people to the cosmic. We were all there feeding from the same trough. It was beautiful. And well, that's really all I can add, because I was there, I think it's 5 hours in total, whereas Connor, you were there what, three days.
5 days. I'm only joking, no.
3 days and a hangout.
That chased me away. wasn't yeah. I was there to the bitter end because I was there with David, so he was like deeply involved with the thing. So we came down on the Sunday with all their equipment, with three cars full of family and gear, camping gear and food. That was the thing. Yeah, you brought your own food. It was like you brought your own. It was you came and you took your own supplies and you left with everything, and you took your rubbish away as well because they didn't have a rub. That's just the way it was. That's like homesteaders, I suppose. There's something of the American West about it. But I mean, like quite. Yeah, I suppose moving into an area, there was bounty there. There was like fires. We set up a campfire on the Sunday night. There were musicians. A banjo player, a couple of tin whistlers, great conversations around the stove in the kitchen of the wooden house, well-read people, people who were keen, open to hearing other people's experiences as well. Not everybody was. There was like. I was involved. It would be me, of course. I was involved in at least one heated discussion, but that's all. I wouldn't be Conor Rafferty if it wasn't, So, but
the religion and politics, the discussion of religion and politics are permitted in a place like that anyway, because that's what it was all about.
Yeah, we're all under the same. Yeah, Dee was there, Paul. I got to have a good chat with Dee. I met her briefly before, but that was great. So, just networking, meeting people that you'd heard of. Or seen on screens. Angie Ray was there too. David O'Reilly, Irish Chariot. Other people that do work in the background or do work networking, supporting groups, supporting candidates were there too. That I knew them from Facebook, but hadn't actually met them. Sorry, go on ahead, John.
I was just saying, campaigners for the candidates.
Campaigners, activists, yeah. So I probably only knew about like maybe five. I'd only met maybe five of the people there. I don't even know. But yeah, I felt like I knew everybody by the end. There was lots of people I didn't know. There were like family members. There were lots of local people from that community, from that community of nationalists, from that community of. They're into self-sufficient. I don't want to say too much, but it's almost like a homeschooling.
Yeah.
It's a well, especially of course in this situation, this current situation, with the with the schools locked down. Everybody's homeschooling, but they had that sort of arrangement going beforehand. So there was a ready-made, almost like a ready-made, nascent community of people that have been the host has been working on this. This is his life's work. I think 20 or 30 years he's been working on that little small holding and the houses and the buildings and whatnot. So it's still a work in progress. Paul says, "Sound Connor, she was talking about it. Maybe next time I'll be with you." Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah. And what we want to see is that this starts springing up all over the place.
This is just the beginning. This has to become such meetings have to become a way of life now for nationalists.
Exactly.
It's not just a one-off occasion. We really need to be getting together more often.
Totally agree, John.
Network and arrange further events. We have to gather numbers, and this is the only way. The only way of doing it is having these meetings.
Mm-hmm. And it was great to meet without the pressure of the people who without the varmints. I don't know whatever you want to call them. I wouldn't call them the enemy because they're not even the enemy. They style us as their enemy, but we see that they're just pawns in the game. They're just like I'm talking about the likes of Antifa, the NGOs and whatnot. They're just pawns in the game and useful idiots. So they're not the real enemy. The enemies are much more powerful people than they are, and they talk about the elites. And if only they would realize it's the same elites that we're against. So many. Just a little aside, talking to an old school friend. I don't know if he's a school friend anymore. Whenever I found out that he supports Antifa, and he found out my politics, but he seems to ascribe me to his he can't get it out of it. He has this idea of right-wing free market economics. He thinks we're all right-wing free market free market economists, and this is what we're all about. All about big business and no controls and anything, and sink or swim, dog eat dog, and that's not what we're about at all. That could be further from. It's much more, it's much more collectivizing, but not under communism. So this is actually one of the points that your man made. He said, look, there was other people there talking. Well, they had some land and they would like to do the same thing. And he says, okay, make sure you got to split the land and sell it out, allocate it out and sell it out before. Don't just say everybody can come and we'll have a big sort of like a commune, because that doesn't work. Yeah, there is a certain amount of collectivization, but there is also respect for private property. So it's the best of both worlds. But then you have a private property for homesteaders, responsibility for the property rights, etc. But then people helping each other out, give and take, reciprocal, reciprocity. Reciprocity is one as a word that I hear a lot coming from John Mark. I don't know if you guys are familiar with John Mark and proprietarianism. It's some ideas that I've heard. I'm still making up my mind about it because there's some aspects I'm not too sure about. But reciprocity is a big aspect of that philosophy that certainly we can take, and that's possible in small communities, like what we modeled for a weekend, but we weren't just like LARPing, because those people we were in there, but those other people are doing that all the time. And I would say like about 50% came from within 10 miles. They were very much part of that community, and there was like wives, husbands and wives and children, and maybe 3 generations of people there. And interestingly enough, for people who would like typecast us as like some sort of like racial supremacists, there were like people of mixed race there. There was one lady of mixed race there, very religious lady, and there were Eastern Europeans. So it was by no means like they were national. I would call them nationally and traditionally minded people in a community sense, and we actually had on the Sunday we did an exercise. We talked about we looked at 20 principles. This is where I meant to have some preparation. I meant to have the photograph of the work that we did, and I facilitated it. First of all, the host talked about one of the inspirations, which was the Anastasia stories, and then the Anastasia communities that have been set up in Russia along these lines. Now, he doesn't agree with everything, but he's taken the best bits of those at work. Apparently there's books that have a series of books of stories that are fictional but also allegorical, about a guy who falls across a sort of like a rat race type person who falls into one of these types of communities, and then he ends up falling for the community and ends up getting married and marrying into the community and staying with the community. And based on the series of stories, these sorts of communities have been set up all over Russia. So that's actually very interesting. I'm going to research that and look into that, because I was actually learning a wee bit of Russian for thinking about going out there on a bit of a trip. Just check on the. Yeah, so that's about that. That sums it up there, really, for me, John. John, anything? Do you want to come back in with any bits of your anything that?
Well, I was waiting to hear what James arranged himself over the weekend, so I'd like to hear that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's go with that then. Let's go with the curiosity, the energy of curiosity. James, when I was talking to you and mentioned about this, you said that you'd been away doing something similar, and I didn't even know that you were planning it. So that's great.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't. There wasn't as many as you now. Like I think there was 9 of us, and 6 of us.
9 of you, yeah.
Of us stayed overnight. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and 6 or 7 of us stayed overnight. And
how many of them did you know? You go ahead. Yeah, I'll just sit back and you just take your time on. Yeah.
Well, I knew 3 from from last year, because I went camping down to Uachtarad,
Mm-hmm.
down in Galway. Do you remember when the protest was on?
Mm-hmm.
The same people went with us that time. So we got to. I think it was just Monday we were talking about, you know, how good it was, and we arranged, and we went then, you know, Friday, and people like came from all over the country. You know, there was four from my I would say my county, and the rest were from all over. Some lads it drove from nearly 6 hours, so they did.
Oh.
You know, to be there. So you know, we spent the night. We sat down and we spoke about certain things. You know what I mean? But it was really
Politics.
just getting to know each. Well, we spoke a bit of that, of course. Obviously that came in. You know,
Politics
but,
is what got
we generally tried to just get it. Sorry, what was that, John?
I was saying politics is what brought you all together there in the first place.
Well,
So we're on the
that's
same page.
exactly, yeah. But we'll say the first couple of hours we tried to keep that over. You know, we tried to get to know each other, you know, a bit more personal, and which it did, because when you spend this amount of time with people, you get to move around and talk to people, you know, one on one, and you know what I mean, get to know them. Like, I mean, I know a lot of these guys for ages online, but I've never met them. You know what I mean? Now I've got a face to the name that I have online, and I know that I can sit down and talk to them. And I have all their personal phone numbers, and now we phone each other regular. You know, like, do you know what I mean? But especially a couple of lads now from Uachtarad as well, and the same thing's been happening now with other boys. You know, I mean, we're all in contact. And we're planning to do it again before the winter comes. Sure, just say at that. You know, but I find it great. I find it great when you can actually sit down and, you know what I mean, sit and talk to the guys about things face to face. Because I mean, we can all talk to people online for days and weeks. If I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's personally half an hour spent sitting talking to somebody personally is worth 1,000 hours online. You know. But we went down of the Friday night. We all arrived, I don't know, it was around 6 or so, we all met up, and we got things sorted out from the campsite, and, you know, we got things up and running, shall we say, got the grub on, and you know, yourself. And we had a great hour evening. We had you know, I mean, the whole lot of us, you know, I mean, we all really seemed to click. So we did. A couple of lads only came and stayed for 2 or 3 hours. You know what I mean? They were local lads, but you know, they couldn't stay for the night, you know. But you know, I really recommend it to everybody. You know, people need to take things offline. You know, I mean, there's only so much we can do online. You know, like it's just talk online, isn't it? You know, what I mean, I know.
You get a feel. You get a
feel.
You can gauge somebody. You can gauge somebody far better in real life. You know, you don't spend so much time thinking. Like when I'm typing a message, you know, you're still quite suspicious of the other person. You never really. Well, I've had experience like dealing with like maybe thousands of nationalists. Of nationalists. So like I'm a wee bit more comfortable with it now. But I can imagine just how nervous I was at the start when I was like first, you know, accepting friend requests or making friend requests and having those first tentative wee things. And of course, I'm out in the open now because like I've been doxxed. So there's no point trying me trying to hide anything, you know. So I'm just like out in the open about everything. So there's nothing, you know, there's nothing anybody can get on me anymore. So I'm lucky in that sense. When it's a weight off my shoulders, to be honest with you. Like I prefer my life now than I did back in London when I was still Conor McZorba, and nobody knew that I was Rafferty. Well, it was there if somebody really wanted to, look back through my Facebook and whatever, and
of course, they could dig it out. Yeah, but
mhm.
as I was saying, like, I think maybe that those couple of hours are worth 1,000 hours online. Those hours. Sitting talking to people face to face.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like those, like, I have a different relationship with those people now that I've met and spoke to and sat with. And I had a few drinks and had a laugh and, like, you know what I mean? It's different now compared to the normal. You say hello.
Would you say,
and,
James? Would you say that it's increased your
Oh,
trust level, your level of trust with those people?
Definitely, Connor. Definitely, I would trust the people more a lot. Like, like, I always say to people that you shouldn't talk online to people that you don't know about things.
Yeah, especially in the era of screenshotting.
Exactly. Do you know what I mean? Like, when this big exposure was going to come out from this Kelly lad, there was loads of people running around all thinking and saying, "Oh, he's going to do this, going to." But like, all I said to them was, "Well,
oh, this Jimmy Kelly,
if you're not
just
Kelly
or
is
what?
right, yeah.
Jimmy Kelly,
If you're not,
or
if you're
Stephen
not
Bennett.
speaking to
Stephen
these
Bennett.
people- Stephen Bennett is his real name. Yeah.
Yeah.
As I was trying to put across to people, like, they're complete strangers, so you shouldn't be even talking like things that he can screenshot and bluff about you. To people online. You know what I mean? You can, like, we can all
Never say
have a
anything in a
civil
private chat
conversation.
that you couldn't
Exactly,
defend.
yeah.
That you couldn't defend in public if it came to the bit. Now, you might have an opinion about somebody. You might have to say, "Oh, that's a bit sensitive." I've said, but you certainly wouldn't want to be
exactly.
saying anything that
No,
your
but,
mother. You wouldn't want your mother to know about. So because
Exactly.
that's the way you have to. That's the way
Exactly,
you
and
have
that's
to.
right. Exactly, that's the way I always try to deal with people online too. Not to write anything that's it's just going to put your foot in it or wherever, as they say. Like,
Stay away from
like,
racist slurs, talking about violence, Fed posting. Just be sensible.
Exactly.
Those aren't nice things.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
There's loads of things to talk about now. And if you get some guy that's starting to talk about promoting violence and that, like, that's only so. Like, to me, maybe just me being paranoid, but that's leading you on to, a conversation that you don't want to have. And so don't have it. Do you know what I mean? Don't have that.
Just say you're Fed posting, man. You're Fed posting. This is a warning. You do it again, and I'm blocking you. And just gotta be.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Exactly. Be straight up with these people. You know what I mean? Like, because, like, if they're genuine nationals, they'll understand where you're coming from. Won't they? Obviously, you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Like,
there was a lot of it going on in the past week. I think they were going crazy trying to get something on us. There was this. On Facebook. There was a guy, Eamon Kant. Started off seemed quite reasonable, a bit crazy, but then is obviously it's a made up name and a made up profile. But then coming towards last night, the big reveal, they were desperately trying to catch people out by we won a big fight with Antifa. Come on, where's the man among you? Have you got no balls? Have you got no? And it's like. Nobody cares. People are sensible. The Antifa is a distraction. It takes us away from our main purpose, which is to get the word, to get power, get our hands on the soft power, electoral power. Fighting with Antifa will not get you a seat in the Dáil. In fact, it's guaranteed. If you get into a fight, if you get a criminal record for fighting, you're going to make it impossible to get a seat in the Dáil for yourself. So we don't have enough candidates as it is, and then they all end up falling out with each other. These silly, divisive people that are going around causing division. There's one in particular I'm thinking of who's got it in for me at the moment. And you have to ask yourself, why, just because of personal gripes, personal jealousy or personal gripes, it's the stopping me doing my work, which is, my work is I bring people together. So look, I've brought you guys together. David O'Reilly has recognized me as somebody who brings people together, and people in his own area say, have heard rumors about me, and he stands up for me and he says, "Look, Connor is useful," and I proved myself on the Monday because I led.
Yeah.
I've got management experience and I led and teamwork and experience, team building experience, and I led an exercise to distill from 20 points which points the people in the room in that meeting saw as the most important. And I can go through those now because out of 20 different points, 20 different political programs. And bear in mind, this is like just the way that group of people were feeling on that day. So if we met again this weekend, the same people, it might be a different 5 that would come out at the top because of the circumstances might be different.
Yeah,
anyway, these were the 5.
Yeah.
The first one was the top one was pro-life. Pro-family and pro-life. I mean, these were things that went together, right? So a general principle: pro-family, pro-life. Then joint second were control immigration, and free speech. That was joint second. Yeah, two different points. So already we've got 3 there. So we've got respect for family, putting families first. So well, it's pro-life and just family-friendly policies, etc. Okay. Secondly, joint second.
Yeah.
Free speech and control immigration, which is the biggest, what would you call it? Existential threat to the Irish nation that we have at the moment. Then the 4th and the 5th were, I think these were possibly joint as well. Yes, ethical banking and reform the whole banking system, and an end to vulture. Get rid of the vulture funds. And the eviction situation, the predatory eviction situation. The 5th one was sovereignty, restore Irish national and economic sovereignty. So within those 5, you like all the people were saying that the other things came out of those. A lot of the other aspects of the program came out of those. Like rural Ireland, etc. There are fundamentals there, like sovereignty and free speech are 2 fundamentals of the nationalist movement. Sovereignty, nation state, yeah, exactly. And then if there's no nation, if there's no people, if there's no homogenous people, then there's no nation, and there can be no nation state. It's just if there's mass immigration that dilutes the nation state to the point that there is no nation, that the nation doesn't exist, that there's like a multiplicity of nations, then you cannot have a nation state anymore. It's a multicultural society with no guiding, and it doesn't no shared values and guiding principles and grand narrative to bind the people together. So there's like it was massive. It was great philosophical and political, and also people getting off the keyboards and getting used to working together. And the good thing was, like, the people from this, who the person who invited and his friends and family, they were already used to this style of work. It came very naturally to them. And maybe some of us sort of like bumped and jostled a wee bit. Maybe we talked too much because we were used to just talking and banging away on the keyboard. Nobody's listening anyway, so I'm just going to keep talking, that sort of thing. Whereas we found that they were more used to just sharing the space and whatnot. Maybe I'm doing the same now, so I'll just shut up for a moment. So Jim, John, back to you. Like,
can't hear. Sound is gone. Mike, your sound is gone on me, Connor.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Can anybody hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear both of you.
I can hear you. Okay, yeah. Can you hear anything? James, just check. Have a fiddle there. Have a footer around, and see if you can get our sound back, because we can hear each other. So, John, I'll come to you for impressions of the weekend in the West. The weekend
impressions. The day I was there, yeah.
I don't know whether you can hear me, lad. But
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Yeah. Tell you what, Junior.
I can't hear
go
you.
Let me take you out of the stream for a second, and I'll take you back in. Junior, can you hear us now? James, testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, James.
Will I leave and come back out again?
Yeah. Leave and come back in again. Okay, man. Right, so he's going to leave and come back in again. So go on ahead, John, in the meantime.
I was just saying the impression that I would take away from the weekend is that those people who showed up are the ones who can be relied upon in the future
Hmm.
to show up something more pressing,
Hmm.
because we'll need that.
When there's a
Uh,
need,
yeah.
when there's a need for a demonstration or a protest or an election, these are the ones that Padraig Pearse once said, I don't care one jot for your opinions, for your grand opinions, how beautiful your and how well constructed your opinions are. Show me what you can do for Ireland. Show me what you can do for Ireland. If you have these lovely opinions and read 500 books, but you haven't done, you're not willing to get out of bed or leave the house and go somewhere to meet with other patriots to do something for Ireland, then you're not worth, you're worth fuck all, really. Or you're in a lesser. Okay, you're not going to be one of the people that are going to save Ireland. Anyway, sorry, John. I lost
No,
you.
no. Yeah, I was just reiterating what you had said previously on a stream about people who are willing to leave the house on nationalist business. Well, that's what went on.
Uh,
Yeah. James.
I'm,
can you hear us?
can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you. I don't
good
know what
man.
happened there.
Huh. So to wrap this bit up, like, how did you anything else you wanted to add there, James, from what you heard? You suppose you.
No, well, I just want to recommend everybody out there to put in the effort. Even if it's only 2 or 3 years going off, and it maybe build it from there. You know what I mean? That's we started. I mean, the first time I went, like, there was only 3 of us, and now this time there was 8, 9 of us. You know what I mean? The next time now, hopefully, what I mean, we were going to do it before the end of the summer. So hopefully the next time there'll be maybe 15, 20 of us. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, well, all I really recommend is people need to get out from behind the keyboard and start meeting up with people, so we can build up a nice community together that we can trust and talk, because we can do all the talking we want sitting behind the keyboard, but it's not going to change the bloody thing, is it? Like, let's be honest about it. You know what I mean?
Sooner or later, we're going to have to go on demonstrations or go on electoral campaigns, and you can't do that. Basically, you're leaving the house to work in a team together to do something. You can't do that if you just like atomized individuals and you don't know each other. It's just harder to do that. Some people can cope with that, but there's a spectrum. Some people need more time with each other before they can meld into that, and
Yeah.
we need now is the time to be doing the social there isn't it looks like there's no election. We got the news tonight that the program for government has been agreed by all 3 parties.
Yeah,
So
no.
yeah, it might be dodging a bullet there for us in some respects, because we're not ready for another election straight away, and I don't think this government's going to last 6 months anyway. So in 6 months,
No.
Why
Yeah,
some more?
yeah.
A majority of 4. I can't see it lasting too long. It's we just have to keep pressing on the fault lines, pushing them on the fault lines. Hope maybe Sinn Féin will come in and start doing something, provide some opportunity, some opposition for once.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm sure an awful lot of people have lost their trust in Sinn Féin after this. Do you know what I mean? The way they've been so quiet and sat back and done nothing and just let the Greens and Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael just get away with what they want again. So, you know what I mean? If I personally was after voting for Sinn Féin, which I would never anyway, but like, you know what I mean? I'd be absolutely disgusted with what's after happening with the way. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? They got so many votes, and what did they do with it? Nothing. I mean, what did Mary Lou Civic? She said the other day that we're a government in waiting, I think was her word. A government in waiting.
They offered absolutely. They just went along with the WHO and the UN and their guidance. No mind of their own. No recourse to independent scientists. No criticism of the globalist narrative. Um, no, they just throw.
Exactly.
I think they will have lost. They will look this whole pandemic, or it's not even a pandemic. This whole scare,
No,
as it turns out, and
yeah.
then and then what's happening in the United States. This is massive 4 months of red pilling for the public.
Yeah.
I'm looking at groups.
Definitely.
I'm looking at this protest outside the GPO. Every Saturday, D-Wall was telling me I've seen pictures
Yeah.
of well, with like
Yeah.
50, 100 people at them, and the lockdown, and a
Yeah.
lot of those, most of those people are new to the protest arena, but they're coming in and they're
Gotcha.
ready. They're ready for or they've already made up their mind about nationalism. You know, nationalism fits in with like a distrust of an awareness of the elites through all the truther, you know, the truth searching stuff they've started asking questions, and the internet has
Yeah. Yeah.
the internet, the alternative media has given them answers, maybe too many answers, but they've had to like wade through and find the ones that make sense, you know, that are evidence based, and they're coming with they can certainly see that the narrative that there's a fake narrative out there, and they're looking behind the narrative and looking for answers, and many of them are already are because of their nature, because of their self-sufficient and questioning nature, they're already either nationalists already or open to nationalism. Sorry, go
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. Like as
There's
as bad
no,
this
there's
thing
a
has
whole bunch of
been.
new people coming into nationalism in the past 4 months. It's just
Yeah.
going crazy, and they're
It
also
took the words
people
down.
that are willing
It took the
to,
words down my mouth.
and they haven't been sitting for like this. I'm fairly new as well. Like I'm maybe I'd say 2 years, but like the one. Luckily, they haven't got some of the hang-ups of the. You know, let's give the old guard, the people that have been doing this for like 10 years and 15 years, 20 years, like lots of respect. But some of those people that have been around in a long time have got the hang-ups of like we're on our own. You know, this is a secret. It's almost like a secret society, and they bring the ingrained. You know, you practice something.
Yeah.
The habits of a secret society long enough, you know you can't get out of them, and they're stuck in the secret society mindset about like super suspicious about everybody. The new people coming in don't have that because they're already moved. They're joining like something that's more massive, that's something that's bigger. They're seeing they're like joining. There was a girl there who came on at the weekend. She had been she watched Lauren Southern's movie Borderless about 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Seen Gemma Doherty, followed up and watched a lot of Gemma Doherty stuff. Gone down to the GPO. Somebody had invited her to come along, and bingo, in 3 months,
Yeah.
you know,
Very quick transit.
That's it.
yeah, it's just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
gone from like on the, you know, possibly believing what the MSM was telling her, and maybe questioning it slightly because she did say that her brother had been like on to her, you know, for years and years and years, but finally, so those people. This is a good example. Those people in your life who you're working on, keep talking to them. Keep talking. Don't give up on them because the circumstances now will allow them to start to hear you in a way that they couldn't hear you before, and tie in.
Of course.
Go on ahead, John. Do you want to say
As
something?
bad.
RTE did
Sorry.
some favours for the nationalist movement last night with that broadcast because I'm sure the Irish Freedom Party and National Party, Renewa, have seen a few applications for membership as of today because of what they did last night. Because it was through people bad mouthing the real nationalists that actually turned me on to it. I was seeing, you know, friends giving out about populists being racist and over the years, and this was when I was apolitical, and I just one day decided to look at what they were posting, and what these guys were saying. People like yourself, Connor, they were saying the truth. There was no racism about it. It was just pragmatism, and that was hook, line, and sinker for me then. So RT would have had the same effect on a lot of people there last night as well.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, I was expecting. Oh, I was expecting trouble. I was wondering if I might be mentioned. I think a lot, probably about 100 people were sitting there thinking, "Oh God, am I going to be mentioned?"
Yeah, it was a surprising effect.
In the end, it wasn't too bad.
I was expecting your name to come up somewhere along the line, Connor.
Yeah. Maybe I think I'm more important than I actually am. Well, okay. Don't answer that. Don't answer that. No, great. So look, we're all important. Like we all play our parts. We all have different skills.
Exactly.
The thing I'm all about is bringing people together, and for actually, this is another point I want to make. For things like that weekend. No, I'm not saying like everything's going to be like that weekend. It's not all going to be a bed of roses because we've got work to do.
No, of
But
course it's not. No,
we need to
no,
take a
no,
retreat back and work
Yes,
with her.
yes.
You know, get to know each other and plan. And
Yes.
it's wonderful because we're wonderful. These were wonderful people. You see just how wonderful people when the stress is off and they can
Yeah.
relax.
Well, that's
Play a bit of music,
that's
have a
the
few
thing,
beers, have
yeah.
a conversation at your ease without like, you know, being spat at or
That's-
people throwing things at you or abusing you. You know, it's just so nice to meet under
That's-
different
yeah.
circumstances for once.
isn't it? Isn't it? It's
Uh-huh.
just. We all got our phones. You know what I mean? As soon as we got there, we sat there and got the fire going, got a bit of grub going, and we all said, "Let's switch off the phones and throw them in a tent." And that
Mhm.
was it. They were there for maybe 15 hours, and nobody checked their phones, or and that was just the way we decided to do it. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? So we could talk nice and freely, and we knew nobody had a phone that was recording anything or that. I'm not saying it was anyway, but I'm just saying it makes people feel more comfortable.
Mhm.
Just, like, you know what I mean? When we all know we're sitting there genuinely just talking, free, And I really recommend people out there that edge. Like,
And look, we've got so much beautiful
They're even
countryside
thinking
and
about-
beautiful activities to be doing. You know, like
Exactly.
historical. Did you guys do a bit of fishing? I was wondering. I know you're a bit of a fisherman. Did you do some fishing that time?
no,
weekend?
we didn't, but we did the last
Mhm.
weekend. We did. We were down in Galway. We were some lovely scenery there, But like as you said, Conor, there's some wonderful parts of the country, and they're just absolutely gorgeous to be out there. And it's just it's just nice to get back even to nature. It's just to be sitting around the fire. Or,
Wow. Yeah.
You know what I mean? The smell of smoke off.
I'm going to be putting up some videos to give a flavour of it, and David O'Reilly is going to be putting some up as well. And then David took me to see his gloat show, his little Galway hooker that he's restored on
I
the
seen
Tuesday
your
morning
video
before I went to
where he
the
was.
bus. Gail Force O'Reilly, yeah. So
I
Gail
think you've
Force
done a
O'Reilly,
small
channel is
video,
Gail
didn't you,
Force
where-
O'Reilly.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was my
Right,
voice in the
yeah.
background. Yeah, that was my
I
voice.
seen it. Yeah. That was it. But that's what it's all about, getting back to these little things. I mean, these are
Uh-huh.
all the important things, in life too, as well.
Celebrate
they might
our
seem
celebrate
small,
our heritage,
but
celebrate
they're
our
simple.
culture. Mhm.
Exactly.
No, they're not all going to be as good as that. That was just like so. I was saying to
No,
David,
of
I was saying to
course.
David afterwards. In 5 years' time, we'll look back at this weekend and we'll say that was the start of something. That was when the movement really got started, really came off the keyboards. Okay, well, you could say the free speech or some of the meetings, there's been. It's not true to say that's when the movement, because of course, like there was that's the first retreat, the first that we had a chance to go and look at ourselves, not just and work out and debate among ourselves, not just like go with our message and give it out to the public, or try and shout above somebody who was trying to shout us down. So yeah, that was our first real chance to do a bit of navel gazing, look inside, reflection is the term I'm looking for. Yeah, a bit of group reflection. So Keith Woods says a movement has to offer something, has to have some incentive. And of course, like we're being hounded, people are going to be pushed out of jobs. I'm going to find it difficult to get a job in my chosen career. I know that for putting my head above the parapet. Some of us will suffer more than others, but we're at risk. We just have to be strong.
Yeah.
And how we can do that is find each other and create these bonds and create these experiences. And you're looking forward to that one will keep me going for another month or 2 or 3 months, and then I'll be looking forward to the next one to come and sit. I really felt it filled up my sails. I was getting really low.
Yeah, exactly.
Even was there just before David's chariot thing. I was like feeling low because Melissa O'Neill is attacking me. She's on the rumor mill.
Yeah.
She's accused me of everything. The only thing she hasn't accused me of is kidnapping Shergar, but pretty much anything else, it's ridiculous, with no evidence presented whatsoever. And this is just all because of jealousy and a feeling of competition. People have really got to get that. And if she's talking to anybody out there, talking in your ear, ask her for evidence. Ask her for evidence. I'll open up my books. I'll open up my community. One of the things she's accused me of is like abusing people over by messages and things like that. I'll no problem at all. I'll open up any conversation on screen, and you can see what I did or what I didn't do. I'm not guilty, but it's just a shame. It's just a shame. Anyway, I've said my piece about that. Somebody,
No,
go on ahead,
yeah.
James. Pick it up there for me.
No, it's a shame because I mean a lot. And it is a shame because a lot of us know the good work that you do, Connor. You know what I mean? Like I mean, this time, last year I wasn't doing anything. Do you know? I was just online doing this. I mean, you like have helped me to help others, shall we say? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly, man. Yeah, I
Sorry,
wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting you. I wasn't teeing you up
I
to
don't
sort of
know
like sing
what
my
the
praises there.
story is.
I was gonna say move us on to a happier subject. So I'm just like moved that you would say that, man. Thanks, I appreciate it. I appreciate
Sorry,
that.
gone. Sorry,
Yeah.
boys.
We can hear you. We can hear you. Okay, he's going to come out and come back in again. That's all right. So yeah, we've just hit the hour there. So we'll keep it nice and short. Unless John, there's anything else you wanted to talk about. I mean, one thing that just comes to me is just the magic of that moment up on the moor, up on the mountain with the mast rock. It was just a magical evening, and we sang a few songs, we prayed.
It was kind of surreal.
There was like a 360-degree. As somebody was saying, do you remember there was a couple, a middle-aged couple came around the corner, and the woman's eyes were popping out of her head. There was about 40 or 50 of us around this mass rock. There probably hasn't been that number of people around that mass rock for decades. Possibly even for centuries. Yeah, that number of people at the same time praying. So her eyes were popping out of her head. So we certainly, it was like almost going back in time to go forward in time. We need that power. It's a spiritual war as well. So we need that. We need to tap into that. So guys, throwing it over to yourself, John or James, if you want to make any closing comments.
Go for it, James.
I just like to say, to give a shout out to all the guys that was there the night. They know who they are. I don't need to say it. And I recommend that everybody should take the time out to go and meet these people offline. Get offline, get out there into the real world and meet these people. Because I mean, there is an awful lot. Like I didn't realize how many local people there was that were nationalists. Around me. You know what I mean? But I met 5 the other night that are local from my county, and now, we're going to keep in contact, like, and they're only living not too far away from me, you know what I mean? Which is, like, I knew the guys online, but, but that was it. I didn't know them, but all I can really say, get out there. Get off the keyboard, just the same as we always say. Get off the keyboard, get out there and meet some people.
Mm-hmm.
What I mean?
You might find that you might try and say, okay, let's move. Oh, we can do this in fifth gear, and let's put let's the 10 of us meet up, and then it doesn't work because like they don't want to meet up, and then you have to like take it down a gear. Okay, let's meet one-on-one. Maybe people aren't ready for meeting one-on-one. Maybe you need to have a few phone calls, like have a few one-on-one phone calls, or even group calls. So you ratchet it up. If the car won't go up the hill in second gear and third gear, then you change it down into second gear, and then that works. And then you get up going, you get a bit of speed up, then you can move into third gear. So you vary the pace according to what's required. What I've seen groups, I've seen territories. People trying to start something with like just 2 people in the whole county, and now there's like 10 people on Telegram, and so that probably equates into 50 or there's maybe 100 people on the Facebook group, and that's all came from over 6 months. It takes time. Build it. Do a wee bit every week. Build your connection. Your local connection is the one that's going to count, though. It's the one. That's what we need to build.
Exactly. Could I just say one more thing before I go? People need to get onto Telegram, get on Facebook, because Facebook,
You just kicked it.
as we see,
You're saying that.
they can-
You're just saying that 'cause you get kicked off last week. But you're
yeah, I know, yeah. But like, it just goes to show that, I mean, they can wipe you out. You know, with to think about. I mean, everything I posted, you know, everything I've done for the last 9 months was just gone in seconds. That's why it's so important to make other contacts, and so we can take this thing offline.
other channels, yeah.
So, I mean, into the other channels, exactly.
Yeah. And these are just vehicles because, like, what we did the weekend is the real thing. Is the real, the
That's
flesh
it,
and bone,
that's
flesh
it,
and bone
that's
connections
it,
is the real
that's
thing.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing is,
But we
the
do
Facebook
need
and the
something
Telegram are just
to fall
stepping
back on.
stones. They're just stepping stones, and then they're going to be
Exactly. Yeah.
they're going to be organizational tools just to communicate, to organize the next thing and the next flesh and bone thing. Okay, John,
Exactly.
summing up for yourself. I know you're just in from a day's work and you're probably starving and better to go get some grub.
I can only echo those sentiments, James. But yeah, exactly. Network with people because you will need those people in future, and they'll more than likely need you. So, yeah, that's all I can say.
And I know that the people in the chat are very much like communicative people. This channel is all about activists in real life and bigging that up and encouraging that. And I know that looking in there, I see Paul and Suzanne, or might even see them tomorrow. I'm hoping to get down there tomorrow. Are you going up?
Yeah,
I might see you tomorrow, James.
I've met.
You met Paul.
I've met Paul and Suzanne, lovely people. I met him at John and Gemma's court case when I met John as well. But I mean, I knew John anyway before that. But you know, I mean, I met him up there as well. You know, some really good people as well.
And I've had long chats with More Peace. It's hard for
she seems like a lovely
I think
lady.
she's working abroad. I'm not sure, but yeah, listen. It's thanks everybody for your attention. Thanks guys for coming on, and Berigi and Bua. Let's win this thing. Let's win this thing. Let's prepare for victory. Let's get ready for them. That's about it. I could go on saying do this, do that, and other thing, but I'll leave it at that for now. Yeah, I'll leave it at that for now.
Yeah. No, it's right. No,
Okay, guys. See you all soon again.
Hey,
All right. Good night.
thanks for having me. Good night, John.
All
Good
right.
night, Connor.
And well
Good night,
done,
James.
James. First time going on camera. Well done, man. It
Thanks,
was
God. First time, like.
faultless, absolutely faultless.
Yeah.
Only the microphone was as good as you. Yeah, you should your microphone up there. Right, lads. Chat, Ihoy. Thanks for your attention.
Ihoy.
See you tomorrow.